Ah, spring? The sun is out, the flowers are blooming, and for millions of us, that means one thing: the misery of hay fever is back. You know the drill: the sneezing, the itchy eyes, that feeling that your own head is waging war against you. It's something so many of us go through, but the science behind it, it's actually pretty fascinating. And it just doesn't seem fair, does it? A tiny, completely harmless little grain of pollen just floats on by, and boom, your body declares all-out war. So the big question we're going to tackle is this: why in the world does a little bit of pollen cause so much chaos? All right, let's start with the part we all know a little too well: the symptoms. What doctors call allergic rhinitis, but what most of us just call the absolute misery of hay fever. So let's get the official name out of the way: allergic rhinitis. But here's the thing: the name we all use, hay fever, is completely wrong. I mean, it has nothing to do with hay, and it doesn't give you a fever. Nope. It's just your immune system basically having a massive overreaction to something harmless in the air. And that overreaction leads to a list of symptoms that is, well, painfully familiar. You've got your runny nose, the sneezing that just won't stop, the red, itchy, watery eyes. But check out these last two. Sufferers can actually get dark circles under their eyes called allergic shiners, just from all the nasal congestion. And then there's the allergic salute. You know, that constant upward wipe of your itchy nose? If you do it enough, it can literally leave a little crease on your nose. And if you feel like you're the only one going through this, just look at this number: 30%. In a lot of Western countries, that's nearly 1 out of every 3 people affected by this every single year. That is a staggering number of us at war with springtime. So what is actually happening inside your body to cause all this drama? Well, the best way to think about it is like your body's security system is just broken. It's sounding a huge, blaring false alarm for no good reason. Okay, so this false alarm happens in 5 steps. Here's how it goes down. First, you breathe in some pollen. Simple enough. But your immune system freaks out and flags it as a dangerous intruder. So it creates these special antibodies called IgE. Think of them like little wanted posters, specifically for that pollen. Now for the crucial step, those wanted posters get plastered all over these things called mast cells, which are basically tiny grenades packed with a chemical called histamine. Now they're armed and ready. So the next time that same pollen shows up, it latches onto the wanted poster and kaboom, the grenade goes off. It releases a flood of histamine. And that chemical is what causes every single one of your miserable symptoms. So this whole chaotic chain reaction needs something to kick it off, right? It needs a trigger. So let's take a look at the usual suspects that get this whole process started. The outdoor triggers are the obvious ones. You know, pollen from trees, grasses, weeds. But the bad guys can also be inside your own home. We're talking dust mites, pet dander, mold. And here's a really modern problem: the environment itself. Air pollutants from things like traffic and industry can actually make your symptoms way worse because they irritate your airways and basically get your immune system primed and ready to overreact. Now this is where that whole wanted poster system in your body can get really, really confused. It's called cross-reactivity. The protein in something like birch pollen can look almost identical to the proteins in, say, the skin of a raw apple. Your body sees the apple protein, thinks it's the pollen it's looking for, and bam, triggers a reaction. So if you've ever gotten an itchy mouth from eating certain fruits, it might actually be your hay fever in disguise. Pretty weird, right? Okay, so we've got the problem, we know how it works, and we know what triggers it. It all sounds kind of bleak, but you are not defenseless, so let's open up the allergy fighting toolkit. The 2 most common weapons you'll find over the counter fight this battle in totally different ways. First up, you've got antihistamines. Think of them like a SWAT team. They rush in to block the histamine after the alarm has already been pulled. They're great for those sudden out-of-nowhere symptoms. But then you have nasal steroids. These guys are more like peacekeepers. They don't just block one chemical. They work over time to calm your entire inflammatory system down. That makes them way better for that persistent day-in, day-out kind of misery. But see, both of those are really just about managing symptoms. What if you could actually fix the root cause? Well, that's the whole goal of allergen immunotherapy. Now, this is not a quick fix. We're talking 3 to 5 years of carefully exposing your body to tiny, tiny doses of the allergen. The point isn't to block the reaction, but to fundamentally retrain your immune system to finally learn that, hey, maybe this pollen stuff isn't a threat after all. It's the long game for lasting peace. So, we've gone from just blocking symptoms to retraining the whole system. But what's really, really exciting is where the science is heading next. We are on the verge of a major shift, from just reacting to the problem to being truly proactive. We're talking about stopping the allergic reaction before it can even start. This is the future of relief. And this is the new game plan. Instead of waiting for that histamine grenade to go off and then trying to clean up the mess, these next-gen strategies are all about getting in there early to cut the wires and disarm the bomb completely. They're designed to interrupt that chain reaction right at the source. Let's walk through these 3 incredible ideas. Strategy 1, intercept the wanted posters. A drug like omalizumab basically sends out its own little security detail to grab those IgE antibodies out of your system before they can even get to your mast cells. Strategy 2, jam the receptor. This uses these tiny engineered proteins called DARPins that act like a key broken off in a lock. They physically block the spot where the IgE needs to dock, so it just can't. And strategy 3, which is my favorite, is to hit the brakes. This uses a special protein that cleverly triggers both a go signal and a much more powerful stop signal at the exact same time. It basically tells the mast cell, nope, stand down. So what this all means is that we are shifting from just muffling the alarm to actually getting in there and rewriting the security code itself. Which leaves us with one final and pretty powerful question. With science now able to target the very root of this whole reaction, are we on the verge of a world where we could finally, truly cure hay fever for good?